Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Coding. In this video, I'm gonna share with you this setup using animation nodes. Basically, some kind of drivers that take advantage of object path index. This was actually something that's actually answered at the Blender Stack Exchange at some point. But I was thinking, I think this can be much more easier to set up using nodes. So basically, you have a camera, which is like a render cam. You can have like a multiple camera. The camera itself is actually an object, right? And each object can have a path index. So I have this path index of 0 in this case for the camera. And if I change the path index, you will see that the object is actually changing its visibility. And this is something that you can connect to the render. Maybe some kind of ways. Let's say if the camera is actually inside Suzanne, Suzanne should not be rendered. And you can set it up that way because currently I have this 4 objects, Suzanne, Torus, Cube, and Icosphere. And for each one of them, I'm giving them a different path index, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And basically, simply by using like some kind of logic here, if the path index of the camera matches the objects, then that object should be hidden. That's kind of the idea. This is the whole setup. It's already complete, but I will start from scratch just to make it much easier to understand. So I'll start with generating some objects first. So I have the monkey. Okay, the monkey should be there. It's the torus and icosphere. So I have 4 objects, and for each object, I'll give it different path index. So path index 0 already. This one 2 for the monkey, 3. So every object have different path index, and the camera also have path index. Normally, it's actually for the compositing, but in this case, we're gonna use it to trigger some things. And I have this lamp as well. Maybe in the next live noding, I will make the lamp to change color based on the path index. That's actually also just an idea. So I just make a floor just so that if you look at it from the camera, it's gonna looks like a, yeah, I think it's better. I'll give it ambient occlusion just for fun. So animation nodes, path index, demo 001. And yeah, let's jump into animation nodes right away. I'm gonna leave this, okay, something like this. So animation nodes is running. So I'll start with this. I'll get the camera and get the path index first. I'm gonna use object attribute input. Okay, not output, it's input, and we're gonna grab the camera, and this is gonna be like path index. So what I like about path index is actually because path index can be, it's kind of like attributes that exist on any objects in Blender, no matter what type. So this can be really useful, and it's actually very easy to see what's the index. In this case, okay, the camera has a path index of 0, so if I change it to cube, also 0, icosphere, Suzanne, so that's actually good for us. And for the objects, for our objects, we're gonna change the visibility. So I'm gonna group it, and I'm going to use objects from group in animation nodes. Just grab the group. So we are now dealing with multiple objects from this group, and let's see if we can use this. Now this is unfortunate that unfortunately we cannot connect multiple objects into this object attribute input yet. So we need to use loop. So I'm gonna select this object and tap W and then loop through the objects. So now this is gonna process for every object. that's inside the group. And I want to check the path index once again. So this is the objects going in there, and check it using viewer. With the viewer, you can't see all the value. You need to use viewer loop viewer. Plug that in and click here. We have text being generated, and look at it. So now we can see the path index for every object. So that's pretty clear. The next thing I want to do is to bring the camera inside the loop. So this is camera object, and really in this case we just put it in there, and probably we can just do some kind of comparison. So we're gonna be using a logic, so true or false logic. It's all under here, and we want to compare between the path index of the camera and path index of the objects. So let's try just doing that. So I'm comparing for each object. I'm comparing the path index to the camera, and I think it seems to be working now. False, false, and true. So one of them will have a true because it's matching the camera path index. If I change the number, change the path index of the camera, you will see the true is changing. I think it's a good idea to actually look at the name as well, name of the object, just to make it much clearer here. So there you go. Icosphere false, Suzanne true, Suzanne true, torus false, cube, and cube is false. That's because of the index of the camera here that we can actually you can actually view. So because the index of the camera is 2, as it's matching Suzanne, that's why we get true for Suzanne. So we can actually use that to our advantage. So we can use the visibility, object visibility output node, and for whatever objects that's coming in, we want to change the height and height render visibility to match this logic. So there you go. That's actually the whole setup we just did very quickly, around 5 minutes. And now if we are changing the camera, changing the path index, whenever the path index matches the objects, that objects will disappear. And that's actually the whole logic behind this setup. It's not actually complicated, but if you are like new to programming, this is, I think, pretty useful, and there's a lot you can do just simply by using this kind of logic. Let's say we want to change the index for the objects. Let's say we make Suzanne path index to be like 1. So Suzanne and torus is the same. Now whenever we select the camera and changing the path index, it should trigger a different result. Did I do something? Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm selecting the plane. The plane is not the right thing. Okay, I need to select the camera. So now you can see 0, 1. Path index of 1 hides the Suzanne and torus. And with true and false, you can always like switch it, like invert the logic. So this is also pretty useful. So the true and false now being inverted. Whenever it's true, the object is going to be visible and renderable through the camera. So 0, 0 matches the cube, so the cube is switched on. Path index of 1 matches Suzanne and torus. 3, 2 match nothing, so nothing being rendered, and 3 matches the icosphere. So I think this is pretty useful, and it's now totally up to the artist if they want to change the camera index. Whenever they change the camera or things like that, they can always drive other attributes this way. So I think pass index is very, very useful in this case. So yeah, that's, I guess, pretty much it for this live noding. Let me know what you think. Maybe you have something to add. Let me know in the comment section below, or if you have any questions, let me know as well. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.